What is happening, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Why Did I Buy a Mini Truck? Might be a little loud in here. I got the AC going. It is scorching out today, but I want to go ahead and start this intro out today. Today is Friday, and you know what that means. That means this weekend we are going to be painting the King Cab finally. So got the entire truck wet sanded down. I went ahead and laid some primer before we wet sanded, so sanded the truck down to 400 grit, and then I went ahead and wet sanded at 600 grit. So we had some black high build primer here just to go ahead and level some things out, some gray normal build primer. What I did was got all of these door jambs again. I hit the inside here with 800 grit on both of the inner portions of the jamb. We did already spray some flake on here, but I want to go a little bit heavier on the flake, so we're going to go ahead and get that sprayed out. I've started already masking off some of this stuff. Now everything has been wiped down. We're going to wipe this truck down a few more times. I got to get it out of here and clean the floor up, get it back inside, get everything masked off. But this weekend what we're going to be doing is getting this thing sprayed. So the very first thing that we are going to go ahead and do is finish masking off the windows and the doors of the truck. Once that is all done, I'm going to call it a night. Come out here early in the morning, get the truck aired up, get it out, and go ahead and get this shop cleaned up. Got a lot of stuff I got to move and get prepped. Then what we're going to do is we're going to wipe down the entire truck with our paint prep. Everything will be masked. We're going to be masking off the engine bay. I am going to come back through here and hit these flares. I did a little wet sand patch right here, and I'm not super stoked with some of the texture that we got on here. Got a little bit of orange peel, and unfortunately the clear that I put on the tubs is not thick enough. So what we're going to do is we're pretty much just going to come straight up here. We're going to get the tubs wet sanded on each side, and then we're just going to get those things sprayed with some more flake and then a little bit more clear, and we'll come back through and wet sand the tubs. I am not going to go through the whole engine bay. You know, the cowl is sprayed already. You're not even going to see it. It's going to be covered by the cowl cover or the wiper cover, but that's where that's going to be. So you're not really going to see in here anyway, so I'm fine with that. The back wall here where all the brake lines and stuff run, it's fine. It's smooth enough. But really the tubs I wanted to go ahead and get nice and glassed out. I want to make sure that they look really good, especially if somebody comes up and touches it. So entire truck is wet sanded right now, like I said, with 600 grit. Front bumper also wet sanded down with 600 grit. Got to get it cleaned up. We need to also go ahead and wash this bed out here, get it nice and clean. There's still a little bit of stuff I need to do in here, kind of clean up a few of these holes and wipe down all of this before we get it masked off. We are going to be spraying those tabs that I made for the fuel cell, and I do need to clean up the welds in here on each side from when we welded our support when we were working on the bed. So here's a good shot of the side of the truck. So looks a little crazy right now. I promise it is nice and smooth, so we are good to go. Got all this taken care of. Got a little bit of exposed metal here, not a big deal, because we are going to be laying down our black base coat, which is going to also act as a primer. So it's a black kind of paint and primer, but it's not your Rust-Oleum style. It's more of like a traditional single stage paint. However, it's in a can. So we're going to get that sprayed out. And then what I'm going to do, so I thought a lot about it, and I think the best course of action for this is we are going to spray the truck with the black single stage, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and wet sand the entire truck with 800 grit. We're going to let it sit for about 24 hours. We're going to come back, we're going to wet sand the whole thing with 800 grit, and then I'm going to go ahead and lay the flake and the clear on Sunday. Then we're going to let this bad boy sit for the entire week. Not going to touch it. We're not going to mess with it. We're going to come back, and then we're going to wet sand the entire truck again with some 1,000, and we're going to work our way all the way up to 3,000 or 2,500. I can't remember which one I have, but I'm pretty sure I've got some 3,000 in here. We're going to go ahead and get it all sanded down and then we will cut and buff the truck. Now, you might be wondering if we are going to be painting the flares and the skirts. We actually aren't going to be doing that. I'm actually going to be skinning them in some carbon fiber. So I decided it's going to be a little bit more work, but we're going to go ahead. Now, they're not a full carbon flare. They're literally just going to be a skinned flare. I mean, in the loosest term, I guess they would be a carbon fiber flare, considering the base is just an ABS plastic. But for now, they are just a skinned flare and skirt. We are also going to be doing a carbon fiber front lip on our bumper here. So that will be after the bumper's all installed. This thing's going to get sprayed out. Went ahead and test fitted our turn signals just to make sure everything looked good in there. And then I test fitted the brake scoops up in the front. So that all looks good. It is a bit overkill since this truck is just a single cam KA. It's nothing crazy, and we are on bags. I think if I was going to go more performance orientated, I would definitely have gone coils on this thing, and then you know, our drivetrain would be something entirely different than it is right now. So we don't got to go too crazy. Honestly, it's going to be mainly for looks. This thing's not going to be driven super hard. It's really just going to be probably a show queen. I mean, I might do a couple donuts in it, but you never know. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and finish getting this masked off, and I will catch you guys tomorrow, which will be the next clip, but for you, it'll be just a second. And we're back. So it is the next day. Everything got masked off last night. We got the floor wetted down, and we are about ready to spray. So a few things that we have to go ahead and do still. We need to first mask up. PPE is very important. You don't want to be breathing these chemicals. Even though it is a rattle can, the paint that's in there is just like your regular spray gun paint, so it is very important that you wear proper protection when doing this. So we got the floor done, we got this all wiped up, the whole truck has been wiped down a few times just to make sure we're good. We got all the important stuff masked off, all the windows are ready to go, everything's been wiped down, we are prepped. So you might notice I left the bed open. That's because we are just going to be bed lining this, so I'm not worried about it. I gotta wash the bed out, but there is no loose dust in here, so we should be good to go. I'm very excited. So all the wheels are masked off. I was going to raise the truck up and take the wheels off, but I decided not to. So I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on the GoPro. I'm going to put my PPE on, and we're going to get this truck sprayed. And just like that, we got down 4 coats of the Roth Skid Mark Black. Currently wearing my respirator still, and that's just because it is a little fumey in here. This last coat is off-gassing right now. Got the door open over there, but I went ahead and closed this one, so I go ahead and film this for you guys real quick. Basically, went ahead and got it all down. Looks really good. Happy with how it turned out. It's not perfect. Bodywork's not perfect, but I'm also not a painter. It's my first time. I think it came out really good. Nice and smooth, so I definitely think wet sanding with that 600 grit after we laid the primer was a great idea. The whole truck's sprayed out. Very excited about it. So I'm on the fence right now because I do want to go back through and wet sand with 800 grit. But from what I've been reading, I'm going to get the best result if we just go ahead and spray the flake now and do our clear coat, and then come back and wet sand it once we get our clear on. I don't want to risk burning through any of this base coat because this is all the paint I have. So I think what we're going to go ahead and do, so we're going to get this off gas for about 25 minutes, maybe 30. We're going to come back. We're going to go ahead and spray that first coat of Roth Flake. All right, guys, so I went ahead and got the last of the coats of metallic flake in, and man, this thing is looking awesome. So I'm very excited with how it turned out. Obviously you can tell, aired the shop out a little bit, and I mean, it just looks so cool. So this is a freaking fuchsia flake from Roth Flake. This is over their Skid Mark Black, and we have on here 3 full coats of their flake. So it takes about 3 cans per coat, including the front bumper. And went ahead and also sprayed some extra stuff. Got the tubs resprayed a little bit, got this center support sprayed, and man, it is just looking so good. So I don't want to touch it too much or anything because it just finished off gassing. We're got about 4 minutes until we can go ahead and start laying our clear coat. Hit all these jams again. I mean, it just looks so good, so much better. I mean, you can see there's already a nice reflection to it. We haven't even sprayed any of the clear, so the bumper came out really good. Very excited with how it turned out. Honestly, the whole truck just looks awesome. Like here, it's very like muted purple. You know, it's almost like a dark plum. I think at night it's just gonna look black, but as soon as headlights hit it, you'll see that purple. And then you come over here where we have some better lighting, and man, it just lights up. So very excited. I think it's gonna look really cool with the clear. Like I said, the body work, I did the best I could to my abilities, so hopefully it'll turn out great. I'm already liking how it looks, so that is a plus. I'm gonna go ahead and get the cans of 2K clear ready to go, put my mask back on, get some ventilation rolling, and we are gonna spray the clear coat down on purple stuff. Alright guys, and that is a wrap. I got my mask on right now because it is still a little hazy in here. Went ahead and shut this down, started raining, so I got the other side opened up. But this is 4 coats of 2K clear over our Roth freaking fuchsia flake, which is over top of a Roth flake skid mark black. So you can kind of see over here, it looks almost black, and that's exactly what's going to happen at night. It's going to look pretty dark, and then during the day, this thing is just going to glow up. Really stoked with how it turned out. Looks great. Everything looks good. The whole truck looks so good. So much better than the first time I sprayed it, especially here at the roof. We didn't have any of those weird issues at all. I went ahead and got inside here also in all these jams just to make sure it all looked good. I'm going to let this thing sit for probably, well, obviously I'm going to let it sit overnight. I'm going to come back out and check on it tomorrow, but I think what I'm going to do is I will keep an eye on it over the week. I think maybe next weekend we'll come take a look at it, see what we can do. I honestly don't think we're going to need to wet sand this. I mean, there is like a little tiny bit of orange peel, which we could wet sand out. My God, look at that flake, dude. Oh, it looks so good. So there's a little bit of orange peel, but it's not much. Shouldn't be no thing just to buff that out. I don't think we're going to have to wet sand this at all, which is dope. It sucks because I did just buy a shit ton more sandpaper, but whatever. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Definitely a lot better than our trial run. Our shaved mirror caps look fantastic on both sides. I mean, the whole thing is just mint. So I do temporarily have some bolts in here since we are going to be using our upgraded hardware. And we got our hardware kit. And yeah, guys. This right here is the Roth freaking fuchsia flake over a skid mark black with a 2K clear. And I am very happy with how this turned out. So what we did was we did, I think, 3 or 4 coats of the skid mark black over top of our wet sanded 600 grit primer. And we came back over it. I left about 15 to 20 minutes in between coats for the base coat. Then I let that final heavy coat sit for right around 25 minutes. Came back in, laid a light dusting of the flake, followed it up with another lighter dusting. I'd call it almost a medium coat. And then on the 3rd coat, I went ahead and came back in a little bit heavier. And then on our 4th coat, I went the heaviest. Let that heavy coat sit for 30 minutes. So pretty much I stick to a 15-30. It looks like it turned out great. So clear coat looks fantastic. Really happy with how it all came out. I mean, not bad for being rattle can. Definitely would have been a lot easier in a booth with a paint gun. But I'll tell you what, man, all that hard work, all those hours of sanding definitely paid off. So I'm very excited about it. So like I said, guys, then we went ahead and laid down our clear. So I waited 15 minutes because that's what 2K recommends. So I did 15 minutes in between clear coats. I went with a light dusting first, then a medium or regular coat, and then I went with 2 heavy coats. The last coat being the heaviest, obviously. But man, I mean, it came out so good. I don't know if you guys remember that video where I sprayed the just the cab black and then did the fuchsia base with just some light clear. I don't know if maybe the cans I had were messed up, but dude, this looks way better. Look at that. Boop. So I'm gonna let this sit overnight. I'm gonna come back, check it out. I might post some pictures up on Facebook and Instagram. I just wanted you guys to check it out. Purple stuff can finally live up to its name. It is finally purple. I cannot believe it. You know, it's weird in some lights. Not that it is or isn't, but in some lights I'm getting like little hints of like orange. I don't know. On the camera, it looks almost like half of a midnight purple color. See, like right here, it looks like almost gold. I don't know. It's probably just reflecting off of everything, but can't wait to see this thing out in the sun. So I am gonna wrap this video up. I appreciate everybody watching. We are almost at 400 subs, which is ridiculous. So I appreciate every one of you guys. Here's another coat. Look, Oh, crispy clean. And this is exactly what I was saying. You know, it's like when you talk about wanting to give up on a project and a project is just super hard and you're like, why am I doing this? This is exactly why I'm doing this. I mean, I cannot wait. You know, we have all the interior done for the truck. I mean, everything is ready to go. So once this is good, in about a week, we'll check on the paint, see where we're at. And then I'm thinking maybe give it another week after that. I would like to wait the full 30 days for it to cure. But, you know, there's a Cars and Coffee coming up, so I'm probably going to not do that. But I think what I'll do is I'll wait maybe 1 or 2 weeks. And then we're going to go ahead and start assembling the interior. We got to route the new air lines up in the front. Since we got our mount for our Jack's 4-plate, it's going to go right here underneath our center stack. So I got to rework the front lines and some of the rear lines. Get everything done. Throw the dash in here. Get the carpet in. Get the seats in. The headliner in. Get a windshield put in this thing. Get the glass back in the doors. Get the glass back in back here. Get the new seals on. I mean, this thing has so much more work to get done. It is going to be a busy next couple of weeks, guys, but hopefully you'll be seeing a bunch of content coming out, a bunch of assembly, cool little things that I haven't shown you guys yet that we're going to be putting on the truck. I am stoked. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Get out there, get in those garages. And until the next one, peace.